Mic on, testing. Okay. So, going to cut to the chase. I have just entered my first drift competition. So excited. Yogi from Science of Drifting, or PH Drift, he has arranged a new grassroots competition, and it's got a caged class and an uncaged class. I am not caged currently, so I'm going to go in the uncaged class, and the battles are just going to be kind of like consecutive qualifying laps, so there'll be no tandems, but still really excited. It's quite an unusual competition. It's one of the first ones I've ever seen that takes into account speed. So your qualifying, I believe, your qualifying score isn't a score, it's actually a time. I think it's really interesting. I know drifting is not about lap times, it is a style sport, but for somebody to come out and say it's not about speed is absolute, complete and utter shit. It is all about speed and style and line and angle and a lot of style. But I think the way Yogi set this up is genius. You get time penalties instead of score penalties for not hitting the clipping points. You obviously the time it takes you to do the run is a big factor as well, and it's just that speed is kind of an element of the judging, and everything Yogi has taught me about drifting so far since February in the 5 drift days I've had, it's all kind of been about speed. Yogi is about speed. You know, he's called Science of Drifting for a reason. He's an absolute genius when it comes to car dynamics and getting the most speed out of your car. And I love that. I love it when people are focused on speed when it comes to drifting, are focused on going faster when it comes to drifting. For example, like Mito in the British Drift Championship, I love his style because he's just so aggressive and so fast. So this competition being about speed, it is unusual, but I think it's so cool, and I really can't wait to compete in it. So in preparation for that, on my birthday in October, I'm going to have a drift day with Yogi. It's a quiet drift day, so there's only going to be about 30 cars there compared to normal when there's like 90. So the drift day was a little bit more expensive, but I get tuition from Yogi himself, and I'll get loads of seat time, and I'll be able to practice the line for the upcoming competition, and get hopefully the national track nailed down, because I haven't really managed to do that. I need to initiate faster for a start and initiate a little bit later, to get the South Bank really nailed on, but I can't wait to get that done. And then it's called the Northern Drift Challenge. I'm entering the speed drift competition, and that is going to be on bonfire night on the day, but I think there is going to be some nighttime drifting, so I might have to get some LEDs, some underglow on the brick. I think it looks sick and orange with the copper steelies. For now, the car is currently broken. After my last drift day, I broke a drive shaft, so thank you very much to Kyran. He has sent me a pair of drive shafts for free. I just paid for postage. Thank you so much for that, dude. Honestly, I was really struggling to find some, and there was some people shouting out on Facebook, oh hey Volvo, thank you very much for putting that on the Fast Bricks Facebook page. Thank you again, Fast Bricks as well, and thank you Kyran for messaging us and getting this sorted for us. So actually, from recording this video, the drive shafts are arriving tomorrow, so I'm hoping to fit them straight away. But to prevent another drive shaft snapping, I am going to get a full poly bush kit, and that's where a guy called Felsbergs comes in from Latvia. He's doing as a full poly bush kit, a rear Volvo 940 kit, because I've got a Volvo 940 rear axle, and 960 front poly bushes, so I'm getting the whole car poly bushed. I'm hoping to reduce the axle tramp and reduce the chance of another snappage of a drive shaft. I hope it's just going to firm up the whole car, and the axle tramp has been a problem, and it's been getting worse before the drive shaft snapped, so I'm hoping this is really gonna help out. I'm hoping to get them fitted before the day in October, the practice day with Yogi. That is less than a month away, so the poly bushes have got to be made from scratch, custom, and then shipped over, and then I've got to find some time to fit them before the 7th of October. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, a bit of a struggle, but I'm going to try my best to get it done so I can make the most of that day drifting with Yogi. What else? Yeah, so I'm getting the car fixed. The plans for the winter and I guess beyond. So at the moment, my plan for this winter, after that speed drift competition, is to tear the car down. I want to turbo the car. It's currently got a 3 litre straight 6 non-turbo. It's less than 200 horsepower. That feels less than 200 horsepower. I'm hoping to go north of 300 horsepower to be able to kind of compete a bit more. Next year, I want to, well, over the winter, I also want to get the car caged. I want to do a lot more weight reduction, polycarbonate windows, cut the door cards out, loads of things really, as well as just generally tear the car down and, you know, make sure everything's okay. Once it's turboed, caged, I've got more horsepower, and I've comply with the regulations for drifting. Might need some extra fire suppression as well. I'm hoping to compete next year in the 2 feeder series for British Drift Championship. So one of them is Drift League GB and the other one is the Scottish Drift Championship. I'm hoping to do a round or 2 in each of them, get a feel for the competitions. I need some tandem practice, so maybe a drift sim might be a good idea. If I get a sim set up, I can do a lot of tandem practice on that. Otherwise, it'll just be kind of doing drift days, trying to do tandem practice because I've never done it before. But still, I'm going to just throw myself into competition as soon as I get a cage. And who knows, I might end up doing a round of the British Drift Championship next year. We'll see. I do need to do a bit more research on the regulations of how the car needs to be set up for Drift League GB, you know, the cage, fire suppression, all that. Make sure that I comply with all the regulations. I might need a bucket seat and a harness that are in date with FIA specs and all the rest of it. So there is quite a lot to consider. So I need to do some more research for that. I need to look into exactly how to get into the British Drift Championship as well. That is my goal. I mean, I want to bring Volvo to the British Drift Championship, or back to the British Drift Championship, because I know back in 2013, Mark Huxley competed in a 240 with a BMW V8, and that car was absolutely sick. I love it. And he's actually just bought another 240 yesterday. He's going to make it into a drift car, so I'm really excited to see what Huxley does with that over the winter. And you never know, we might be tandeming next year. That would just be amazing. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling, so yeah, that's kind of where I am at the moment. Announcement about the competition. I'm getting the bushes sorted, I'm getting the car fixed, and then over the winter, turbo and cage, and then just competition, and practice. I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you. Bye.